Scott Pilgrim versus the World. When was the last time you saw it?
A couple years ago. I like that movie though. I feel like I know it well.
There's a great line. Brandon Routh's character, he's like one of the ex-boyfriends. He's like super blonde. He's like super buff and fights Scott. And he's vegan. He's like super vegan.
Yeah.
And he gets busted for being a bad vegan by the vegan police when they're like, how'd you get so ripped or something? It's like, I did it in gelato. Like, wait, gelato's not vegan. What? He's like, milk and eggs, bitch. And they drag him away in like cuffs. So.
Oh, and that's when he loses his vegan itch.
Yes, exactly. Which is in good shape as you are. I'm pretty sure you're a vegan-ish. You like milk and eggs.
I like milk and eggs. I used to be vegan. That was an interesting time.
Was that when you did that banana diet?
I wasn't eating only bananas, but I was eating a lot of bananas. And at the time, I didn't know, like I grew up in the woods, kind of, and I used to just throw banana peels and like apple cores and stuff out the window, right?
My wife does that. It drives me nuts, but she's like, it's fine.
I still do that. Like deer and animals eat them, right? It's fine. And sometimes they grow into a tree. So I was used to doing that my entire life. So I would eat a banana and I'm in college and I would just like be in class and I just toss them out the back class door, like outside. And one time one of my professors came up to me and said, "Hey, Taylor." And I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Can you stop just throwing banana peels outside? There's like a pile now." And I was like, okay, that's
like,
fair.
it's not composting as nearly as fast as you thought, Taylor.
Well, there's not deer in the middle of Anderson in South Carolina.
Speaking of which, we started composting, I think at the beginning of summer. So mutual friend Larry Simonson and part-time co-host of the show lent me his compost tumbler that he wasn't using because he does another method now. And it's pretty cool. Like, we enjoy using it, but the one side that we've got pretty good going, it reeks of death, and there's like maggots and all kinds of bugs growing in there. And I feel bad because we put it about 6-8 feet away from our neighbor's fence, and they have like a gorgeous pool. Now, it doesn't stink when the door is closed. I do want to say that. So if for some reason my neighbor found this podcast and was like, "Son of a bitch," like it's not our fault. You can't tell. And we have a little lower ground to where our fence is, so they can't see it anyway. So, and we're trying to save the earth by composting. So we are the good people. Okay. We are the good people.
So they should really be paying you.
Yes.
Honestly, we should change the name of this podcast to Andrew's Confessions, because this week you're like, "Oh, we put a composting thing dangerously close to our neighbor's house." Last episode, you're like, "I parked in a handicap spot, but only for a little while."
Only for like 20 minutes, and I didn't get caught yet. Unless it's one of those things where like I get like a ticket in the mail, knowing Greenville, South Carolina. I have done it before where I have gotten a ticket and I parked outside of Mincoy Noodle House, downtown Greenville, for like 25 minutes. And I remember I parked there to get a quick lunch during work. And when I got back in the car, I had a ticket. And I was like, that's bullshit. Like, I was only there for 25 minutes. And the photo of the car was like a similar model. Like, I had like a white Tiguan, Volkswagen Tiguan. This was like probably like a white, I don't know, Nissan Murano or something like that. And I was like, this dude just not good at his job. And with Greenville, you have to still pay the fee, and then you can file a claim to have it revoked. And then like a month later, I got my check in the mail and then like a little apology letter and all kind of stuff. And then I posted it on social media, just be like stupid, being like, I fought the law and I won. So take that. Take that. Parking violations.
Next week, tune in to hear about Andrew's other secrets,
other crimes. But in the meantime, this is this podcast, One Star Reviews. I am Andrew Van of the One Star Reviews podcast, where we read bad reviews of good places in mostly Greenville, South Carolina. On the occasion, we do dick around and read different places, different states, and different cities. But in this case, we're back in Greenville reading, as you can tell by the title of the episode, Luna Rosa Gelato Cafe. The other voice you hear is my co-host today, Taylor Dorsett of the Professional Technical Interviewee podcast. You can find his podcast on YouTube and anywhere you listen to your voices on, like Spotify and all the rest, just like this podcast. So go to both of our podcasts, check them out, give us a like, subscribe, and all that. And if you want to email me, yesvandrew@gmail.com, and find again Taylor's Professional Technical Interview podcast, where he listens and interviews people in the IT field, but also gives you advice, the listeners, on how to break into the IT world and do mock interviews as well. So all that being said, give you some good airtime plug there, and hope this works out. Otherwise, people might cancel you because this is a shitty podcast round. But whatever, you're having fun.
I just want to say they're not all good places. Sometimes we read places that are not so good, but if that's a tagline you need to not get sued by business owners, I support it.
When I worked,
they're not all good.
When I worked for I can say it now, but if people didn't know before me, like I worked at the Greenville Chamber of Commerce when I started this podcast, and I was always paranoid that somebody would find this podcast and like take it the wrong way. And be like, this guy doesn't support small, but he's just shit. Like, no, like I support by having fun with assholes and irony. That's the fun of it. So,
to be fair, most of them are good businesses. If you're the Arby's on Woodruff Road, you're not a good business
because you're not as good as the one. You're not as good as the one in the Easley. You're not as good as the Arby's in Easley. That's like the primo one, from what I remember. So.
What do we got today, Andrew? It is a good
one. It used to be located on West Washington Street. If you remember before you moved away, Taylor, there used to be a Wild Wings, and now it's the Charleston Sports Pub. And this place was next door. So Luna Rosa Gelato Cafe was next to it. It was like a little dine-in, and it had it still has amazing handmade, house-made gelato and Italian food. It's a lot smaller. They moved into the old Bellacino's, which is right across from you remember, I don't know if you remember
Sticky Fingers, right?
Kind of close. Yeah, right next to next to Ale House. Carolina Ale House. Yeah. So right one block over from there. So right in that area, right in the middle of like the beautiful middle literally of downtown. It's like so there's a city hall and that kind of stuff there. So good spot. And they got a lot more room, and there's like a second area in the back, like another back bar area. So you can just walk in, get your to-go food, your sandwiches, your paninis, whatever, your gelatos, or you can just go in the back and just have a nice dine-in food there, as you can tell with the photo. So legit good Italian food that you won't find at Olive Garden, if that's what you like. But all that being said, Luna Rosa. Let's see. I have one here. You can tell this person likes Olive Garden. Oh, nope, that's DJ Scratch. I'm on the wrong page of my music. Sorry, folks. That's because Taylor was asking what sounds you got, and I totally was on the wrong page. Anyway.
While you're fixing that, one of my favorite things I've seen that Google's added to the review page is updates from customers, which feels like something that they're just pulling keywords. And for Luna Rosa Gelato House, it just says the panini is excellent.
Oh,
so the customers think.
Yeah,
check it out.
There you go. Here we go. Very small portions for what you pay. My chicken was about the size of my palm, and the first dish I had to go to back. I had to send back. The chicken was rubbery and inedible. My wife finished hers before my second one came out, so we ate separately. No bread provided with chicken parmigiana, and we left feeling hungry. The flavor was not the greatest either. Raised in NYC. Sorry, I try to support local businesses, but I can pick a number of Italian places where you can get much more food for less money. The waitress was pleasant, but that's about all I can say was good. I love people who come from New York or bigger places, and they get to automatically be that person. By the way, you said in the previous podcast that you sometimes enjoy finding once you see their profiles to kind of snoop around. And
if they have a lot of reviews, I'm gonna check them out. This
person has A good bit, actually. He has over 130 reviews. Ooh, a law firm.
Wow.
Ooh.
What I
All
love
right.
about this person is they only do 1 stars or only do 5 stars, which means they are like either you're their favorite place or they hate you, right? There's no in between at all.
Oh, they got like the whole story down from the second they entered, too. I mean, this is one for Skillet Restaurant in Spartanburg, South Carolina. 1 star 2 months ago. Found the staff to be very unfriendly. They had us standing at the door for a while before someone said, "Find a seat," like we were bothering them. The waitress came over and I ordered a burger. I said, "Just like it comes with everything." She said I had to tell her exactly what I wanted because she would only put what I told her. There was no mention of mayo and it was not listed on the menu, but it was all over the burger. She came back once and grabbed my glass as she walked by, putting it back the same way without a word. She never asked how the food was or even needed anything the whole time. Just average food and unpleasant staff. Easy to find somewhere else where they care about the customers.
And then right under it, it says raised in New York City.
You know what this kind of personality reminds me of? You know those like personalities that like are a man that tell a woman, "You should smile more. You look pretty." That's exactly the type, like the vibe of like, poor customer service. They didn't like do this for me. They didn't do this for me. They didn't do this right. It's like you could just like tone it down a bit too. So
Yeah. I know we focus on places, but it would be if you ever need to spin the podcast up, we could just pick individuals who are real bitchy and just read only their 1 star reviews.
I mean, this dude who we will not read his name, we kind of could. I mean, if I were lazy enough, I could edit the front of the podcast and not do Luna Rosa and go back to it another time. But this guy even has like a gas station in here, 1 star review. Like,
all right, back to Luna Rosa. We can't go too deep on this man, on this unnamed man who is the top 1 star review. If you go check out Luna Rosa,
Hey,
okay,
maybe another day we'll do a side spinoff. We'll do an episode and a half for that. All right, you got one?
Yeah. I don't mind paying $sign for a good meal, but there was nothing special about their food, and the portions were kid-sized. I would have been happier with Olive Garden for what we got. The waitress must have been brand new because she couldn't tell us anything about the food. First Italian restaurant I have been to where bread was not served. Won't be going back.
I love responses from the owners too. Let me get that music going. Thank you for the feedback. We are training some new people, and I apologize if everything wasn't stellar for your last visit. Some bread is provided with certain dishes that have heavy sauces. We hope that you give us another experience to elevate your dining experience. Thank you. When you go to an Italian restaurant, do you expect bread? I mean, I know you're only like a 1.5% body fat, so you don't really eat a lot of carbs. But if you were carb loading that day, if this is your macro day, would you expect bread?
You know, I'm not really thinking like I deserve bread just going to an Italian restaurant. But if I was a person who loved Olive Garden and that was my bar for Italian food, I guess I would expect bread, which it seems like that's part of the issue here. Is some people are looking for Olive Garden and they say we want Olive Garden. How about a gelato cafe instead?
But I think that's the thing. Like, people get really entitled because they're comparing it to like the lower bar of that genre of food, right? So like Mexican restaurants happens all the time where we read where they didn't come with chips. Okay, not all places that are taco places will just give you chips. I apologize. It's not your, Monterey's, your Mr. Salsas, whatever. Some places don't. Also, those places that give chips, most of the time it's not really fresh. So,
Or they're just not good.
Yeah, exactly. I've been to a Mexican restaurant where like literally the guacamole just came out of a bottle. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a bad experience. But I think it's weird when, people just automatically assume that they just get bread because it's Italian, because it should be like this XYZ Olive Garden. It reminds me of one of my dad, when I was like 13, my parents took me to Fuddruckers. My mom had taken me a couple of times, and I was chubby as hell, and I love burgers. My dad came with for my birthday, and we sit down after we order, and he just growing up, he loved Quincy's and he loved Ryan's. I don't know if you ever had those in Vermont. And the like yeast roll, he loved those sons
Yeast
of
roll.
bitches.
I love a yeast
So
roll.
he sits down, and the first thing out of his mouth, he's like, "Go get some rolls." And I was like, "What? No, it's not that kind of place. Also, it's my birthday. What are you telling me to go get rolls for? What the hell's wrong?"
Wait, at a Fuddruckers?
Yeah, he had never been to a Fuddruckers, so he just assumed it was like a Quincy's and was like, "Go get the rolls."
It's a burger place. There's no rolls.
We're going to get a roll. It's called the bun. Like, you don't need more bread with the burger you just ordered. Like, that's the thing is Fuddruckers. You just ordered the food. You should know what we should be getting to the table. And yeah, he sits down, cleans his glass, and he's like, "Go get the rolls." Like, what? No. What is
you go to
it?
sushi restaurant. He goes, "All right, we'll have the sushi. We'll have a little edamame. All right, and some rolls."
Oh, yeah. And like sushi restaurant, same thing, right? Like people expect to get the miso soup for free or whatever, or like edamame or the little ginger salad, which is, by the way, best salads you can get at any restaurant. I'm sorry, Italian places. I'm sorry, but the little ginger dressings in a little salad, is like, that's superior. You look like
I'm going hard disagree with you, Andrew.
Wow.
I would rather toss out that miso soup and that ginger salad 100% of the time and give me like one extra sushi bite. I don't need any of that shit.
Well, I thought you were going to compare to like salads. Let me ask you this. My wife has a obsession. She loves, when you go to like a seafood place and there's a certain kind of ranch that's like creamier there for some reason. It can be
buttermilk.
Well, exactly. It could be the dumpiest seafood place, but for some reason they all have the universal code of like this buttermilk ranch that is out of the park. That's her jam. She will like fawn over for it. So
I used to love an Ice House wedge, which is just like a steak restaurant's laziest salad, but they just cut a giant lettuce head in half, throw some blue cheese and bacon bits on top. I'm in.
Surprisingly,
there's no nutritional
that's all you
value.
need. Maybe some fried onions to be safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a place in town. I don't know if you ate at Willie Taco when you were in Spartanburg or in Greenville, but they have a grilled wedge salad, and it's interesting because your first couple of bites, like, oh, like this is a grilled lettuce wedge salad. I've never had this, but like, you ever got like a big stack of pancakes and like halfway through it, you're like, I don't know if I want to finish this. That's the same feeling with a grilled wedge salad. Yeah, exactly. It's like, like it wears off after a while. Like, I get it. It's charred lettuce. So
I got one. I don't know what kind of Alfredo that was, but that ain't it. It was the weirdest taste ever.
You read it in the exact tone that you should for that review.
That's such a good review. As someone who loves Alfredo, I mean, imagine you bite into Alfredo when it's not what you're expecting.
I love Alfredo. I think Alfredo, if you were to rank top 5 foods, Alfredo is definitely up there.
We go to Italian like 4 times a year, if that, right? But I will get chicken fettuccine Alfredo 100% of those times and just feel like absolute turd afterwards, but just shove as much of it in my body as it'll let me. But
just chicken, or do you do like the fancy little bit of mushrooms, a little bit of broccoli?
Oh, if broccoli's on the menu, I'm gonna ask for extra broccoli shoved in there. The broccoli's honestly better than the chicken.
Yeah. When I was in better shape in my CrossFit days 10 years ago, I would make like a faux fake like Alfredo because I'm lactose intolerant. So I would get like an almond milk cream cheese, and then I would like saute some onions, garlic, and then a little bit of almond milk with that cream cheese broken down with a little bit extra butter, and then get that like a nice like kind of like what do you call it, like the sauce going, and then I like a little more garlic, a little bit of garlic powder, maybe some greens, what have you, pepper, and then just eat that with just broccoli and cauliflower. And that was like my go-to meal. That was like low carb-ish, but like high fat kind of thing. So yeah.
Can I read this one and you read the owner response?
Absolutely. And
another location to miss in downtown Greenville. I bet they won't last through this year the way they are going. Good gelato does not compensate for absolute garbage tier service. The audacity to expect I would leave a tip after the experience here. ... LOL.
This
What a
one's
turd.
pretty intense. Here we go. Hello. As we appreciate genuine feedback aimed at the improvement of the restaurant community here in Greenville, I am puzzled at the lack of any detail as to help us understand better what went wrong in your opinion. In a few sentences, can you please tell us what was the issue of your service? When did you dine with us? How can we make it better? After all, that's what these forums are for, correct? We would appreciate any details you provide us to improve our business. Thank you. P.S. We don't think these reviews are a laughing matter. Lol. So, if you can truly try to be some assistance, then we welcome your feedback. Otherwise, this is just an attempt to soil our reputation, and that I do not forgive. I look forward to your response. What a threat. What a threat. That's like
Clap it back.
that's like the owner wearing like one of those white masks and a robe in the dark room going, I look forward to your response. Like a threat. Hello, Mr. Graham. You have entered the feedback. Good Lord. You have 24 hours to respond.
That's great. I will remember.
I mean, the dude never responded. So as far as I know, the reviewer is dead. I mean,
we are Luna Rosa Gelato Cafe. We do not forget. We are Legion. Here's a great one. With another owner response. I go here often, but today was just horrible. I waited forever for my check, which is a real insult. Waiting to have someone take your money. No, thank you. How was everything? I had to hunt someone down. Then they just dropped the check on my table when I was ready at the register. Awful. It will be a long time before I ever go back. Put this one in the bucket of must have had a good experience enough times to keep coming back. And then the one time they didn't enjoy it.
My pet peeve, the one time. And this is what you get back. Hello. I just read your review and we are sorry to hear that your recent visit was less than amazing. But considering the current state of labor shortage we are all in this industry experiencing, I understand your frustrations. I was hoping to get a better understanding of the circumstances surrounding this last visit. Could you please tell me what store you were visiting, Greenville or Malden? For our dine-in guests at both locations, all payments are taken at the tables, and the only cashier station is to walk-in gelato customers and do not have the ability to take payments on behalf of the servers to keep the drawers correct. As you said, you've been a guest of ours for several visits, and we hope that one delay in getting the bill won't deter you from joining us again. On another point, next time when in ours or any other business, we would be helpful to improvement of the business, but try speaking to someone with management first. These forums can be detrimental to struggling businesses at a difficult time when the public doesn't make the time to understand the specific circumstances that are causing the issue in the first place. I hope this finds you well and that we have a chance to meet in person sometime soon. J. Angelo.
I love it. I love the responses because, again, is that a very slightly thinly veiled threat right at the end? I hope we have a chance to meet in person sometime soon.
You just know there was a fist pounding the palm at the end of that. Well, I hope we meet in person. Wow, that was that's a very honest response too. Like it was very well written, thought out, and yeah, it's like you can't not side with the owner on that one. So,
yeah, another one with an owner response. Looking forward to a post-dinner gelato at Cafe Rosa. Surprised to find the door locked at 8:59, even though open sign on, customers inside and hours posted indicating 9 p.m. closing. After repeated attempts to catch someone's attention, staff finally acknowledged us standing outside and rudely indicated closed, no service. We wandered down to River Street Suites and had a delightful and courteous experience.
Shout out to competition down the road, as people do, being spiteful. Response. Hello. First, let me apologize for your disappointment and not being able to enjoy your wonderful gelato. As you mentioned, your watch said 8:59 p.m., which may vary from the one inside that staff was instructed to close and lock the doors to. I also can see how from outside, as you're trying to make attempts to still get in, after we've closed, that your disappointment could make you feel like our staff was being rude by not opening the door, but it's simply a matter of safety. By doing as instructed and keeping the doors closed, it allows our staff to finish up with any last minute guests, but also keep our staff safe as they count the drawers and help clean. We certainly hope that you try us again, and please review our website for a current list of gelato flavors and operational hours. Thank you so much for your feedback. LunaRosaGelato.com. I love the last sentence a lot to break it down. We certainly hope that you try us again, and please view our website for a list of gelatos. Like, too bad, but you can look at this all you want and not have any in the meantime, and come back when we're open.
I hate to keep making you the manager, but there's so many good manager responses here, and I've got one more.
Do it.
I think is. Wait, give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay.
Go.
There's a reason this place is doing so bad. It's because the food is subpar. The pasta my wife and I had was dry, not nearly enough sauce. And who serves pasta without good bread? I cannot rationalize the reply from the owner. My review is based on our experience and nothing more.
Oh, the bread. Hello. You must be a friend of Carl. If your intention is to simply bash our business, try adding some details about the food of your visit or make it more realistic. Furthermore, I challenge you to come in and try our food and service and see if you can still review us the same way with a clean conscience. Who is Carl?
I am desperately searching for Carl's review.
Yeah, no shit. Because now, did we read a Carl and didn't realize it?
No, I can't find him. Maybe he removed it. He was so ashamed.
Oh my God.
If I search for the word Carl, the only thing that comes up is them saying Carl.
Oh no. Did Angela off Carl? Are we gonna get off because we're reviewing Luna Rosa? That's what I want to know.
Only Carl is that one. That's great. That's so good. So I love that the manager went from like pretty reasonable, a little spicy to like, you and Carl are in this together, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like that is, there's so much to unpack there. Like I need to know. There was a string of episodes. I think it was like the run that we were doing like sushi episodes, and like I think we did Tsunami and Earshai and like one other place between co-host Caleb and Larry. And in this string, there was like these reviews that kept saying like this bartender Tony was like the best in town, and Tony like was bouncing around sushi restaurants for some reason, and we're like, where is Tony? Where people are demanding Tony, and like, and now I'm just like, who the fuck is Carl? I gotta know what Carl is doing.
I don't have a call, but maybe we can end on this one. A review. It's a short review with a long owner response.
All right, let me see if I can scroll back up to where I was. I went way down the rabbit hole to see if I can find.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the bottom. It's right before they become 2 stars.
Okay.
By Amy S.
Whoops. Sorry, Amy, but hey, it's
sorry, not sorry.
It's on public forum, so it's fair game. So all right, I got it. Go.
The bartender girl with the boy haircut is very rude and unprofessional. I will never return because of her. She is running this place downhill.
That's not enough downhills because that's so many exclamation points. That's probably the most exclamation points I've seen in any review we've done in over the 2 years we've done this podcast.
Is that a saying? Running this place downhill?
Yeah. I mean, you don't go uphill when you're running someone down. I mean, down the hill, yes. I've never heard downhill. Yeah, I guess. But I mean, straight out the gate, the girl with the boy haircut.
Yikes.
I will not just exactly say, starting really well there, Amy.
I clicked on this individual's reviews, and they're one of the people that only leave 1-star reviews. Like, it's only 1 stars. They don't leave anything nice. It's only when they're angry.
Then we would do an episode with Amy S. Then one day. But in the meantime, the long-awaited response from the owner, which is like at least 4 times long as that review. I saw this when it happened, and I've been trying to find the best way to respond, but dumbfounded. So let me explain that the person writing this lovely message was a food delivery driver for a service that we don't use, trying to place an order. With a full dining room of customers during our rush, she started to argue with our amazing bar manager, the girl with the boy's haircut, when told that lunch item she was trying to order at dinner time was not available. Now, even though we have no relation with this or any other delivery service, we offered to make something from the correct menu. She got frustrated and started to argue some more in front of the full dining room before calling the customer and telling them God knows what. May I also clarify for the public at large that we do not have a contract with any delivery service like Grubhub, DoorDash, Postmate, or Bite Squad, just to name a few, simply because there's no accountability for their part in providing good customer service and represent our brand and culture as well. They post outdated menu information on their sites as if we're associated with them, and when there's any issue, they write reviews like this or tell the customer lies like we arbitrarily refuse to make their food or that we are being rude to the driver and refuse service. There is little we can do to connect and explain to the customer at home because we were never given a customer's contact. Parentheses, caps, because we don't use their service, parentheses. I don't know what the answer is, but for now, just know that we are always available curbside, pickup at both of our locations. Please be safe, and we hope to see you soon.
I feel like that's a great response. And once again, maybe the tiniest thinly veiled threat at the very end saying, please be safe. We hope to see you soon.
You have 48 hours to be safe. No, this is not Angelo.
This owner did a great job explaining this situation. And I've never even thought of that before. These delivery companies can just take a menu, put it online, and then whenever they get an order for that company, then they just place an order. And that could definitely be a pain.
That is exactly. I have several friends who either work in the hospitality industry or I have friends who own restaurants, and like stuff like Grubhub, Uber Eats, and all that. It is like, especially right at the beginning of the pandemic, like an unfortunate, necessary evil to stay alive and have, like, you know, somewhat marketing and direct service without liability on your employees and drivers. So like there's a give and take on both sides, right? Like you don't have to hire someone for minimum wage and give them coverage and, you know, gas is all kinds of like just whatever issues you may need to get them waived to work for you personally at your business. And you can do, you know, the Uber Eats and all that stuff, but they also charge a heinous amount of money. I think like when I saw several posts from business, like I think like the restaurant gets like maybe 40, if at best 50% of that. Like, let's say you bought a pizza for $22. The restaurant probably honestly gets like maybe right at $11, $12 or $13 tops. And that's not including the tip for the driver. So I completely understand this owner, Angela, whoever it is, being just like, we don't use that shit because it is awful. I get it. It is fucking awful. And good for them, in all honesty, for pulling through so far and hopefully forever the pandemic because it has not been friendly on all kinds of local businesses. And Luna Rosa has had a wonderful reputation over the years. If you're a Greenville native, it's a great place to get house made, handmade gelatos, best in town, and a ton of variety of flavors. And honestly, a really good lunch price and dinner price. If you're looking for like something that's like on the higher end, nice, and not just your everyday schlup Italian food, it's a great place to go. But like any place, you know, try to go during non-peak times, non-rush times, and you're going to have a great experience. I've had a good experience every time I've gone. And apparently I forgot that they have a second location now in Malden, South Carolina, not too far from Greenville, about 15, depending on how fast you drive, away from downtown Greenville. Great little area out there as well. But again, Luna Rosa Gelato Cafe, right in the middle of downtown Greenville, next to like Carolina Ale House, across from M. Judson Books, and near City Hall and all that. So if you're visiting Greenville, you're in Greenville, it's really hard to not say no to gelato, especially at the end of summer, beginning of fall. It's perfect weather right now. All that being said, this has been the One Star Reviews podcast. This has been Andrew Van. Go like and subscribe wherever you're listening to my voice on right now, Spotify, Apple Play, and all that kind of stuff. And give us a review. We like to read them on air sometimes. Also, in the meantime, while you're scrolling for new podcasts, if you're in the market to look for a job or career in the IT field and world, because it is ever growing, as a lot of us know, and as this guy knows, check out the Professional Technical Interview podcast with Taylor Dorsett. He also has a YouTube channel, and he does great interviews and mock interviews with people all across the U.S. and talks about all kinds of technical stuff that you want to learn to get into the industry. It's a great resource there for you. I did it myself, been in the IT world for about 5 months now, and I love it. I'm a late 30s man learning a whole new career, but it's been successful so far. Knock on wood. Hopefully my employer doesn't find this podcast and fires me. All that being said, Professional Technical Review podcast with Taylor Dorsett. Taylor, is always fun with you. Any other plugs or anything like that for Bennett?
Nope. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh,
Check
see, I
out
did
Luna
good.
Rosa.
Luna Rosa.